Okay, hello and good morning. Keep in mind, those of you that did not take my exam, you have till today to do so I can get grades done tomorrow. Let's take a look here at this problem here. This one says find the greatest common factor. So let's take a look. Up here, you have to first start breaking it down. Remember, I want you to use 2s, 3s, 5s, and 7s. Okay? So here, it's going to be 2 times 10, 2 times 5. These are all prime numbers. This one, 2 doesn't work, 3 doesn't work, 5 does work. 5 times 7, and then 2 n's, n squared. Right here, it's going to be 2 times 10 is 20, and then 2 times 5, and then 3 n's. And so now you take out what's in common. Well, this one has a 2, this one has a 2, but this one doesn't. So you can't take a 2 out. Looks like they all have a 5. And I don't see any n's with this one, so you can't take out an n. And that's it. So take out a 5. You're left with 2 times 2 is 4. You have a minus. Here you have 7n squared, and then you have a minus. And then here you have 4n to the third. And you can check it. 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 7 is 35, and 5 times 4 is 20. And you have 2 n's and 3 n's. And that's it. And that's called the greatest common factor. This is what we did yesterday. Remember, if you're absent, the worksheets are in the cart or on the cart in the front in the folder. The next one is a minus. Now, generally, you're supposed to take the minus out if the first one is a minus. All right, so sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but I think it's a good practice to do it all the time. So let's talk about the minus in a minute. So bring down to 3 because you can't break that up anymore. And then you have 3 k's. Here you have 3 times 5 and you have 2 k's. Here you have 2 times 3 and you have 1 k. So it looks like they all have a 3. So circle the 3. They all have 1k, so circle the k. So you're going to take out a 3 and a k. Now what's left is going to be k squared. Here, what's left here is 5k. And what's left here is 2. Notice that I didn't put any signs. So if I take this negative out, then these are going to change. This one changes to a plus. This one is a plus, so it's going to change to a minus. And this one's going to change to a plus. And that's how you do that. Okay? All right, and remember, this part is called your greatest common factor. All right, let's move on. Put away your bell work. On a new sheet of paper, copy these down. We're just going to continue reviewing for the rest of this week, and then we'll start fresh on Monday. So let's take a look here. Difference of 2 squares. Copy all of that down, and this one right here is a minus, and that goes with the word difference. So it's in the work that I want to see on your worksheet today is this. So I want 6 squared and x squared and 1 squared. Okay, so it's a difference of 2 squares. That's a square, that's a square. So it's going to be 6x plus 1 and 6x minus 1. And it doesn't matter which one comes first, the plus or the minus. And that's it. If you want to check it, you would do FOIL. Watch again. This one right here, 3 is not a perfect square, nor is 75. But you can take out a 3. So you're going to first factor out a 3. This one is 3 times 25. So they have a 3 in common. So you're going to take a 3 out, and you're left with n squared minus 25. Well, this is a perfect square, and this is a perfect square. So it's going to be n plus 5 and n minus 5, and bring down to 3. And that's it. And that's how you factor that one. Okay, so initially it wasn't a perfect square, but I was able to bring something out and make it a perfect square. Okay, so always look for what's in common. That's step one. This one right here, you can break out a 3 just like I did before. However, this is a plus, so you can't break it up anymore. This would be your answer. Okay. Now, if you were not able to factor out the 3, it would be prime. For example, if I gave you the problem x squared plus 25, well, you can't break anything out like this one. So this is not a minus, so this one would be prime because you can't do anything with it. This one is not prime because you were able to factor out a 3. Okay, I hope you understood that. And here is today's worksheet. Okay, so those of you at home, we're doing the difference of squares here. Okay, so make sure you understand that. And there it is. I will post the worksheet on Canvas, and I will try and upload it to the conversation today in Teams. Okay, let's go on to the next class. The next class is geometry. Okay, so let's talk about that. Yesterday you had Pythagorean's theorem. So let's take a look at Pythagorean's theorem. Let me think about this here. Okay, so color the box, and where they both hit the box, those are your legs. So these go together. Okay, come together, go together. So that's going to be 4 squared plus x squared is equal to your hypotenuse. Remember, by definition, hypotenuse is the biggest. So your answer should be less than 8. So this one is 64. This one is 4 times 4 is 16. So you want to subtract 16 from both sides. So you're going to need your calculator, so have it out. Get it out of your book bag. So I'm going to have 64 minus 16. I might have some in the front of the room. There were 7, so if you have one of mine at home or something, bring it back. So it's going to be x is equal to the square root of 48. So hit shift, square root, and you get 6.9. Make sure you can get 6.9. That's your answer. Let's try one more. This one, you don't know the b, so put an x here. These are your a's and b's go together. So 4 squared plus x squared is equal to 10 squared. So 16 plus x squared is equal to 100. You're going to subtract 16 from both sides and then take the square root. I think that's 84. So let's try it. 84 shift square root. I get 9.2 is the answer. Okay, and that's how you do that. Any questions on that, let me know. Okay, yesterday you had a worksheet on this. Today you have a worksheet on something called the distance formula. We're just going to review for the rest of this week, and then we're going to start with new material on Monday. So look up here. You have to memorize the distance formula. Here it is. Write it down. Copy everything down you see. All right, you got to identify where these points are. So point A, and by the way, if you did not take the exam, I went over this yesterday. There were like 7 kids. I opened up performance matters. Okay. Malika, I tried to open yours up, but it said you finished it. I'm going to have Mr. Schmidt-Deal try and open that one up for you. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to this. So this one is over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1. So 5, down 1. This one is over 0, but down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So remember it's xy, xy. Okay? So your x's go in the first one. I want you to write it just like this right now. Every time you do it, I want to see that. Okay, now I'm going to go backwards because that's the way most teachers teach. So take your x's. So put a 5 and a 0. Take your y's. We use a different color for the y's here. Okay, so take your y's, put a -1, and a 4. Make sure you can do the distance formula today. So here you're going to get 5 squared plus, this is going to be a negative 5 squared. Okay? So when you square them, it becomes a positive. So that's going to be 25, 5 times 5. So that's going to be the square root of 50. Okay? On the worksheet today, you do have the answers so you can compare. But I do want to see the work. So shift, square root, press equals. All right, I get 7.1 would be my answer. Okay, any questions on how to do the distance formula? All right, today's worksheet looks like this. It's going to be on Canvas, and I will try and upload it in the conversation on Teams. But if you can't do any of those, here it is right here. Okay, so you got 3 places for the worksheet. All right, again, this is week 1 of the 3rd marking period. All right, show all your work, and you're going to turn it in from Friday to Sunday. Have a good morning.